What if what you call love is actually a game played by your unconscious? Why are you drawn to those who hurt you and push away the ones who truly care? What if you're not the one choosing your partners? What if it's your shadow running the casting call? And if sex isn't just about the body, but the language of the soul, then what exactly is yours trying to say? In this video, we'll look into the places most people are afraid to go, into what truly drives your desires, your connections, and your heartbreaks. This isn't about morality. It's about you, what you feel, but are afraid to name. Ready? Then let's begin. What if the force running your life isn't logic, but the energy you're afraid to look at? Sexuality, Jung said, isn't just where to take your body tonight. It's the language of the soul. In tabloid translation, inside each of us lives an invisible producer of desire. He casts your partners, greenlights spontaneous, let's meet moments, and directs tearful breakdowns to a sad playlist. Then your brain steps up to the mic and declares to the press, "We're in control." Sure you are. Look at how it works for celebrities. Same plot, loud chemistry, shared photos, matching tattoos, and a sudden pause for personal growth. Why? Because the inner energy chose not a person, but a mirror. We fall in love with our own projection, with the tenderness, courage, and freedom we've misplaced, and drape it over someone else like a stylist throwing a trench on for the red carpet. Pretty? Yes. Durable? No. Good news, energy isn't the enemy. It's a talent agency lobbying for what your soul truly needs. Bad news, ignore it, and it will start casting you in dramas. Repressed desire doesn't disappear. It just changes its mask. From magical bond to I'll save them, to one last chance, promise. What to do without esoterics or shamans? 3 steps. First, an honest question. Why do I want this exactly? Not why are they like that, but what in me is begging to be noticed, to be seen, protected, free. Second, 5 minutes of silence a day. No phone, no likes. Let the director of your desires deliver a line out loud. Third, switch genres from mirror love to bridge love. Not halves longing to complete each other, but whole people meeting. No heroic rescue, just real presence. And yes, a tiny, scandalous insight. Those explosive romances often play like psychological horror because your shadow is starring in couture instead of your partner. Take off the mask, and you'll find not drama, but adult intimacy. Let the mind remain your PR manager. Let the soul drive. Better taste, longer contracts. Sex isn't about the body. It's the secret language of the soul. If Carl Gustav Jung lived today, he'd probably host a podcast called Your Soul Likes the Wrong People. Every episode would open with a mantra. Sex isn't about the body. It's the language your soul uses. But no, we keep treating sex like fitness with bonuses. Track the sets, praise the flexibility, skip the meaning. And the meaning, if you trust Jung, goes deeper. Sex isn't just instinct. It's a psycho-emotional interpreter through which the unconscious reports what's going on with you. That's where it gets scary. When you're pulled to that person who sparks and shivers down your spine. That's not chemistry. That's your subconscious saying, "Hi, I'm still unhealed." Paradoxically, the body often fulfills the soul's request. You think it's passion, but the soul is seeking contact. You call it chemistry, but it's old wounds dressed in lace. Not as sexy as a perfume ad, but honest. Jung said sexuality is archetypal energy. Ignore it, and it turns to chaos. The harder you insist you're in control, the more your unconscious throws drama at you. Sometimes the wildest romances aren't destiny. They're your soul yelling through the body, "Notice me, damn it." So next time someone enchants you at first glance, don't sprint to bed. Maybe it's not sexual compatibility. Maybe it's DIY psychotherapy without insurance. Sex isn't just an act. It's a dialogue between shadows. If you join the conversation, at least listen to your desire. It knows you better than Tinder. Do you really choose partners? Or does your shadow do the casting? Ever wonder why you keep falling for the same person? In a new body? Same type? Same problems? Same dramatic finale with a suffering but stylish playlist? Here's the twist. Maybe you're not choosing. Your shadow is. Carl Gustav Jung, the bearded genius, said each of us houses a shadow, a bundle of suppressed desires and fears we refuse to face. That shadow, not your rational mind, often handpicks your partners. You think you're choosing someone by soul, but you're actually gravitating toward those who perfectly recreate your inner drama. Example: a woman raised by an emotionally cold father may fall again and again for men who vanish for weeks, then say they missed her. A man used to rescuing his mother will seek women he can save, preferably from themselves. That isn't love. It's a script the shadow reruns until you learn the lesson. Ironically, these relationships always feel fated. Chemistry, magnetism, soulmate. Jung would smirk. Yes, the soul, your own, which you avoid. So next time you're drawn to someone unbearably compelling, ask, is this choice or repetition? Maybe you didn't fall in love. Maybe you met your shadow in a leather jacket. Not a life sentence. Once you see who's driving, you can finally take the wheel. Let the shadow ride shotgun. She could use the brake. What you deny controls you. What you accept transforms you. Sounds like a mantra, right? If Jung were alive, he'd be a viral Instagram coach. Picture it. The bearded analyst who says, "Stop pretending you're not human. Everything you hide, complexes, grudges, jealousy, awkward fantasies, even your self-dislike, doesn't vanish. It goes underground and quietly runs the show. Like deleting an ex from Instagram, then checking their stories from a burner account. Officially over it, practically addicted. Jung called it the shadow. The harder you push to be good, the stronger what you repress becomes. Try not thinking about sex, your ex, or cake on a diet. Guess what you'll think about all night. Here's the trick. Once you stop hiding your dark sides and actually see them, they lose power. Acceptance isn't weakness, it's leverage. Same with sex. Suppress it. It returns as anxiety, resentment, or, God help us, intrusive thoughts about the ex. Accept it, and you might finally stop running from yourself. Simple moral: quit aiming for perfection, aim for wholeness. As Jung put it, and your shadow likely whispers, accept what you hide, and you'll stop being ruled by it. Desire lives where consciousness is afraid to go. If Jung lived in the TikTok era, he'd post, "Don't repress libido, give it Wi-Fi." Because to him, sexuality is a living energy that hangs out in your psyche's darkest basement, the one you're afraid to enter. Desire is the guest you refuse to let in. It knocks. You go quiet. It texts, "Hey, you home?" You leave it on read. Spoiler, it doesn't leave. It rents a room in your head and starts hosting Friday parties. Every time you fall for the wrong one, chase the forbidden, or crave something indecent, that's not a glitch. That's your cellar speaking. What you fear is where your real vitality hides. We love to talk about sex, but fear our own desire. Positions, easy, feelings, panic. We can build careers but can't stand silence in bed. Jung would shrug. Sex isn't the problem. Your fear of why you want it is. So if something pulls you strangely, don't panic. Maybe it's not scandal. It's an invitation. Desire is your soul's GPS. The signal drops only when you live on the surface of nice. Maybe it's time to go downstairs. You might not find a monster. You might find yourself. Alive. Repressed sexuality doesn't disappear. It just changes masks. If you think you can pull yourself together and switch off sexuality like a bathroom light, I've got bad news. The light goes off. The bulb keeps flickering. In the most random places. Jung, a natural for any talk show, insisted sexuality doesn't die when you repress it. It just costumes up. Outwardly, you're modest, disciplined, spiritual. Then suddenly you snap at a colleague over a mug, or buy a third cactus for coziness, or preach austerity while unable to watch a chocolate ad calmly. Jung would grin. Congrats, your repressed energy just took PTO and staged a theatre of the absurd. Buried sexuality doesn't die. It picks a new genre. Sometimes it's workaholism, sometimes spiritual marathons with the mantra, I need nothing. Sometimes odd flashes of irritation, jealousy, or anxiety. Everything you control lives on and tries to say, hi, still here. We live in a world where it's easier to confess debt than desire, but the longer you lock up passion, the more it acts like a teenager shut in their room. Quiet? Not likely. Jung's version of maturity isn't killing desire, but ending the war with it. While you hide it under courtesy, it dances to your playlist in the next room. Maybe stop hiding and invite it to talk. No mantras, no filters, perhaps with a glass of wine. Infatuation is often a mirror. You're loving your own projection. Love at first sight is like a flash. Dazzling. Then the afterimage. Wait, who is this person? Jung, master of uncomfortable truths, said we often fall not for a person, but for our reflection, our projection. You didn't find a soulmate. You bumped into your inner drama. Now with a new face. Why the pull toward the unavailable? Why do those who love you seem boring, while ghosts feel mysterious? Because your unconscious is swiping. It's not looking for a partner. It's hunting a mirror to finally see your shadow. You spot in them what you lost in yourself. Ease, strength, freedom, passion. And then the relationship burns out like a match. Mirrors aren't made for hugging. Jung would say, you're not in love. You met a piece of your soul. You forgot. No one wants to hear that while dopamine sings. Infatuation isn't a disease. It's a clue. When you see everything you've ever wanted in someone, it's a sign to look for it in yourself. Real love begins when you realize you're already whole. Disappointment after the perfect bond isn't failure. It's the mirror cracking and finally a clear view of you. Desire is both a bridge and a prison. What are you building right now? Let's be honest. Desire is like an ex with impeccable timing. Calls the moment you choose a fresh start. It tempts and thrills. Jung adds cold water. Desire can be your bridge to yourself, or the jail you decorate with fairy lights. You want love? Fine. But end up in turmoil instead of warmth. Familiar? You built a cage, not a bridge. Desire is fire. Brew coffee or burn the house, depending on who holds the match, you or your unconscious. Conscious desire leads to growth, creativity, intimacy. Unconscious desire breeds dependency, control, and a Netflix binge titled Why the Unavailable Again. Desire is your soul's GPS, but you keep using stale routes. Love the unreachable, earn attention, rescue the unwilling. So, bridge to self and freedom, or wall of fear and habits, desire knows where the emptiness is and hands you blueprints. Your move, build something true, or repeat the loop. A blazing soul connection in 2 days. Archetype, not person. That lightning, we're meant to be, feeling. Jung would exhale, not destiny. Archetype. Meet, anima, animus, your inner images of the ideal other. When someone fits the sketch, your brain sets off fireworks, your soul cues, Titanic. But it's your movie. The other person doesn't know they've been cast. The stronger the fate, the higher the odds. It's projection. When the halo falls, you meet an actual human. Socks on the floor, bugs in the head, no poetry in texts. So when your heart yells, "This is it," pause. Maybe it's not fate, just your archetype out for a walk. Instead of chasing twin flames, book an appointment with yourself. Who are you hunting in others? Spoiler, it's almost always you. Real love starts where projection ends. Act way, he's a god, she's a muse. Act 2, 6 months later, he's human, she snores. The end, Jung. The beginning. As long as you love the ideal, you're dating your fantasy, those saviors, perfect women, the one. They're roles in your inner myth. Eventually, the actor quits. You cry, they changed. Truth, the fog lifted. Here's the chance. When projection crumbles, 2 people can finally meet. Not, you complete me, but I'm whole. And with you, it's good. Less sizzle than destiny, more substance than dopamine. If the fairy tale fades, don't slam the door. Maybe the movie ended, and life began. Anima and animus, the inner voices picking your crushes. I don't know why I'm into them. Jung did. Inside every man lives anima, the inner feminine, intuitive, emotive. Inside every woman, animus, the inner masculine, decisive, driven. These 2 whisper, pick that one. Hence, the over-capable woman falls for the carefree poet. The emotionally reserved man loses it over a woman of tidal feelings. Not random. It's your psyche casting someone to awaken a sleeping part of you. Love is your soul meeting itself in another body. Sometimes you're not drawn to the right one, but to the one who spotlights your shadow. Next time your heart goes off script, don't mock yourself. It might not be a mistake. It might be a message. Unrecognized desire becomes addiction. Understood desire becomes power. Jung's IG story would read, "Don't repress desire, decode it, or it'll auto-subscribe you to drama." Because everything we don't understand turns into a loop. Pain, jealousy, same wrong people. You're a functioning adult, job, confidence, and suddenly in a romance where passion roars while your brain whispers, "Run." You stay, calling it fate. Jung would shrug. Not fate, dependency. Not on wine or nicotine. On an unexamined craving. When we don't know what we're seeking, desire traps us. We say we want love, but we want proof we're lovable. We say we crave passion, but we're chasing aliveness. We refuse ourselves. Then emptiness drives, not you. Ask, what do I truly want? And everything shifts. Desire stops owning you and becomes fuel for art, intimacy, meaning. Libido is neutral energy. It can scorch or illuminate. Awareness is the difference. So when the fated story hooks you, pause. Don't flee desire. Talk to it. Every I want hides a I need. That's the doorway to freedom. One question rewrites the plot. Why do I want what I want? Jung's Vogue column, "The Psyche Wants a Word," would start here. Stop shaming your desires. Start understanding them. This single question can flip your personal and romantic biography. Most of us run on autopilot. I want attention. I want passion. I want him, yesterday. But why this person, this dynamic, this feeling? Spoiler, it's rarely about them, it's about you. Desire is a soul message. Sometimes the child in you asks for love. Sometimes your shadow demands recognition. Sometimes your potential needs room. You think you want the bad boy, but you want to feel alive. You chase the unavailable because you learned love is earned through pain. Desire is a mirror, not always pleasant, always honest. Ask the Jungian question sincerely, and the unconscious answers. Repetition becomes awareness. So when you're pulled where you shouldn't, don't scold yourself. Ask, why do I want this? Behind every urge is a clue, often a door. Love mirror, love bridge, not halves meeting, but wholes. If Jung wrote for glossies, the column would be reflect and release. Most love is a mirror trick. We see in others what we lack and call it destiny. Jung would say, you're not a half, you're whole. You just misplaced the manual. Mirror love seeks proof. Am I worthy, beautiful, needed, while adored, warm? Without it, winter. It's emotional Instagram. Remove the likes and identity wobbles. Bridge love is different. You arrive not to be completed, but to connect. Not love me, but let me love. Two autonomous people, building something real. No saviors, no scripts. Presence. Jung. Real love begins when projection ends. You see your partner not as salvation or supply, but as a separate world with shadows, fears, gifts, like yours. Less cinematic than soulmate forever, deeper in practice. Bridge love doesn't blind, it binds. No gloss, but warmth. So if your ideal cracked, maybe that's not disaster. It's the start. The mirror is over. The bridge begins. Stop searching outside for what's screaming inside. If Jung had Instagram, his bio would say, what you seek is at home, in your psyche. We prefer complex. We chase love, passion, validation, the perfect partner with jokes and a gym pass, then wonder why we're still empty. Jung would smirk. The problem isn't Tinder, it's hunting outside for what you fear to find within. What we exile, loneliness, tenderness, the need to be seen, returns as the search for the one. You think you need a partner to feel alive? Truth is, you're strangling your desires under polite. You think you need someone who gets you. Truth is, you stopped listening to yourself. We solve inner problems with outer swaps. Retreat for burnout, new job for anxiety, relationship for sadness. Fine, accept the new beginnings, replay old scripts. The shadow, like a good publicist, travels with you. Jung said, what you don't make conscious controls you. As long as you're hunting a savior, the universe hands you a mirror. Maybe stop seeking the one who accepts you and accept yourself. Paradoxically, once you listen to what your soul really wants, the world stops playing hide and seek. Cherry on top, when you reconnect with yourself, the appetite for drama evaporates. As Jung might quip, looking outside is pointless if inside is still on airplane mode.